in terms of, you know, VCT Stage 1 prior to this one. They've got their eyes, I mean, their goals set relatively high. I mean, Hayes was saying as well in the interview that that we were showing before this as well, that, you know, if this team, this iteration of NRG doesn't make semi-finals, he said it would be a bit of a disappointment for them.
Well, they've already started here with a puzzle on the other end. They've picked into a good map for TSM, and TSM already bringing something new with GMD playing Fade. So I'm intrigued to see what this looks like. You also have the battle of the IGLs. TSM on their attack sides have Sabrosa calling from that Viper position. And they're going to go for an A exec. Recon dart up over the top.
Yeah, right into the back there. That's going to clear the back side of the site.
I love those recons because it's like a bounce recon that delays for long enough so that the site anchors, if they were there, would get pressured by a recon at the same time as the drone. There goes Tex.
Yeah, Tex falling early. Bit more of a forward positioning, but now that horse control, you can see the door being opened up. All that Fade utility just being chucked into the fray. Corey just can't see a thing, and now the swing has come through. Ethan already collecting 2. And Horse, a little bit of pressure being applied, but again, he just snaps around, he clears it, tries to drop down with the right click, but it's enough. The damage is done. And so I'm capable of cleaning it up here on the retake. NRG starting off strong.
Yeah, great pistol round to start things off. The TSM fans, they've seen pistol losses before, but
they've seen many losses before, John.
That's very true. But this iteration, the team's actually been pretty good with them, so that's a great start for NRG to get on the board there. NRG have been playing a ton of their defense rounds for retake. With this new team, they've been playing nearly 2/3 of their defense rounds for retake, and they did it here again on the pistol, playing a full 5v5 retake. That's potentially dangerous. And they have Sabrosa in halls to deal with, 7 at double doors to deal with. They're letting them get the plant down for free. But NRG just feel comfortable in those kind of spots by the look of it.
Yeah, they really did bleed all that utility out early. I mean, you saw the haunt, the dart, everything was getting used. They were perfectly comfortable to just sit back.
Sabrosa just checking out the architecture, waiting for the recon dart.
It does look odd if you don't know the context of what he's doing. But
the recon instead used in mid there for EU.
Yeah.
No aggression from NRG. They used to with their previous team comps. You know, when they've got Som playing Jet, for example, when we saw them in Stage 1, they'd be aggro all over the map.
Yeah, pushing him into these deep positions, making sure to enable him, but it's a different NRG.
It certainly is. And a different composition as well, which should temper some of the aggression, actually, that you see out of Som, considering they're running the double controller here. New stuff on either side. And an unexpected map pick, I think, for both teams. But TSM are taking this one very slowly, very cautiously, but the flash from Ethan gets some decent information. With 45 seconds left, now the Viper wall going down, they can be fairly confident that this is going to be a B push.
These players on NRG's side, they might be in a bit of trouble here. The dart was sent out early from EU, just against it. They're aware of this push coming through now, but they've contacted all the way through TSM. Ready and waiting, they've already collected one of them. Can they clean up Ethan? Right on the half wall, they do. A couple of opening kills for them, still Som alive, but the trade is just impeccable in terms of the timing. TSM, a dangerous team with just the sheriffs.
Yeah, and not just the actual aim that got them that, but the call from Sabrosa to contact push all the way through tunnel. And it's left NRG in a 2v3 where Tex doesn't even have great weaponry, only a single shot left in the headhunter, but he already finds his counterpart.
He's just worked his way in and he's managed to dodge that one dart, that one shot that he had left. Collects Sabrosa. Now Rossi, with a difficult scenario for him still. Gets the one, now it's the 1v1. 54 health, he hears the tap on the spike, just working his way around slowly, but he finds the shots in the end. Commendable effort there by Tex and the NRG crew, but that is going to be the Red Bull clutch for TSM, and a bit of a swing there in the economy.
It is, that's a massive swing. What a huge round for TSM to get straight up. Red Bull clutch coming through there from Rossi, I mean, in theory, but frankly, they were in control of the round ever since this kind of period, where they contact push through their own Viper wall around at tunnel. Taking risks, that's what you want in that kind of round.
Yeah.
Still, excellent performance from 7 to even keep it close, in my opinion. The final bullet and being able to collect a second off the back of that. But TSM now, rifles in hands. Corey picking up the Marshall. And it gives us an opportunity with this massive eco advantage to take a look really at what GMD is up to. Utilizing the Fade, you see there the Prowler going through into those normal anchoring positions.
It's interesting, yeah. You gotta remember as well with the Sova nerf. Okay.
Look how good the Haunt is as well. The Tex picks one up and might make this one dangerous.
Yeah.
GMD actually throwing his Haunt and making it land on top of the pyramid so that it can see everything around the site.
It does clear everything.
Yeah, really cool idea, actually.
Got a little bit worried with the right clicks popping off, but it's interesting to see as well how some of these teams are going to be adjusting. Before I was cut off, talking about the Sova nerfs coming through as well. A shorter drone duration, you know, it's a lot weaker across the board.
It definitely is.
And Rossi, I mean, he's a guy who plays a ton of it. I was wondering how it might alter the compositions, but it's interesting. GMD, he's been playing a ton of Breach as well. I mean, throughout his entire career, so
He has.
might see that later.
The Breach he's been playing tons of. I'm sure you'll see that on the next two maps coming up on Ascent and Bind. Usually playing, the Sky here when they've got the Sky Sova composition for TSM, but both teams, like we said, adjusting away from their normal comps. Prowler comes through, gets some good information straight off the rip that nobody's pushing elbow. NRG not going for defensive aggression particularly with this new comp, without the Jet. Tex holding this angle, should have an opportunity, misses it slightly, and now Corey's aware. The knives out, backs off.
Yeah, dog to clear down just middle. They know roughly that they're just loitering around this area. That is TSM holding around a cave.
And it's a bit unusual to see neither team running the KO, which allows Rossi to drone from a much more pushed up position. He can still get fairly decent value out of this nerfed drone, because he doesn't have to drone from so far back trying to avoid a 0 point.
Yeah.
Here comes the ult, and classic exec.
Through. Yeah, the Hunter's Fury to try and supplement the exec. Right around the corner, Tex is there. He does get the one, but eventually dealt with, and TSM, they've already scaled so deep into the back of this site. The Seekers popped off a little bit prior to that one, but there's no real presence from NRG, no players left alive to capitalize off of it.
It's a beautiful execute that leaves TSM in a 4v2. See if Som and Ethan can get anything done from their positions under bridge. Sabrosa's so pushed up. Holding in the same position that he had a snakebite lineup for, just to put pressure on anybody at yellow. Smoke used so Ethan can pop flash out of it.
Yeah.
But doesn't see anyone. And they get mobbed up.
The cute idea.
What a gorgeous execute, though, overall from TSM. They know exactly where all of the pieces are supposed to be, and they're pushing past their own Viper Wall utility. Take a look at this on the replay. Tex caught by the Haunt, gets taken out, trades 1-for-1. They've got their players pushing up deep, applying pressure with utility to people holding around yellow.
I mean, you got to think as well. It's weird. I still keep looping back to this Fade pick because I'm thinking, you know, they're picking it over the Sky. But when you got the Prowler out to clear that one side of the site, the advantage is you don't have a Sky just sat there loitering in main. You know, you can push everybody up very quickly.
Definitely. And you can already see the value of the Haunt. Haunt on top of Pyramid is getting so much value on that A execute. This time around, the Fade again using Prowler to see if there's any kind of elbow push. That allows Corey to get up, and Corey's now got himself in the position he was trying to get to last round.
It's really advanced. Ethan.
This, though, is such an aggressive push against an eco. Remember, TSM are on an anti-eco here. If Corey gets caught by anybody, he's donated them a rifle.
Yeah, it's a bit questionable, isn't it? But he's found one target. Lucky that he didn't take his head off there with the Marshal, because he did spot him first. Activated the dash. Smoke's in play as well. Cloudburst just to cut off the line of sight angle, but he does feel quite isolated. You can tell he's looking around wildly, trying to see what angle that somebody might come through, but it looks like TSM ending now, wanting to try and commit onto this one. The Haunt straight up into the corner, but it gets dealt with easily enough. Ethan removes it, but with the better weapons in hand, TSM can just jump their way into sight. Start getting that plan down. Oh boy.
Oh, the Seas has already caught onto Som as well. Been grabbed, deafened. What can you do? That's the one non-breakable element of Fate's kit too. Feels awful when you get grabbed by the ankles like that. Terrorizing. And NRG, they're left again in a player disadvantage situation with poor weaponry.
Okay.
Sabrosa couldn't see the head of Tex there. Tex with a slightly better angle. Could this one be winnable? The time is ticking though, and it looks like they're just playing exits.
Yeah.
Even with that pick, they weren't incentivized to go for it.
And Hayes is so far away from it as well. They do just want to try and play for these. The Sheriffs, okay. Bit of a spot coming through. Som's dealt with easily enough. Hayes needs to at least get a pick or die. do the spike to ensure that they get the full money coming into it, and they did take a couple of guns away, so...
Yeah, they made it expensive. That's fine. 7 only has 9K ready. I mean, what purpose does that economical damage really accomplish? Not much at this point. And, I mean, you're looking at the alt status. They don't have anything huge online. Soms from the shadows is not exactly going to win them around, I don't think. This is much more about the neutral game, about finding those picks. I think there's certain areas that TSM have been testing out. It's all TSM have been throwing that Prowler through elbow. At some point, they're probably going to follow it, and NRG aren't going to know when that is. But these A execs have been the big piece that's messing them up. The haunt on top pyramid is just so difficult for the side anchor to deal with.
Yeah, and this is the big round for NRG. The money in hand. Map's starting to get a little bit out of hand.
GMD just got his ult, and there it goes.
Yeah.
All dodge.
Nightfall sent straight across into the site with his horse control. Again, they are dealing with it. NRG. See Tex with the operator. Realize the door being opened up. That is an angle that he's able to watch. I'm going to be used just from bridge into the back of it. That is so much utility comboed up with the C's and the shock darts. And Tex just cannot go anywhere.
It's an awesome adjustment, honestly, by NRG. Moving themselves away from the normal anchor positions. They've set themselves up for a 3v3.
Wow.
But GMD, what is that angle? Catches some. Once more, TSM's utility usage, the way that they push up and play these spots, has just been sublime on A.
Looking real good. Haunt was back online. The 2v3 still possible for NRG, and now they just that more. Ethan, VU, now going to be working their way around, but they don't know where the rest of these players are. Searching for the information, the timing, it's calmed. People will tap there and a stick onto it. They've already got half, but 70 swinging through. EU still winnable for him, especially when it's half. The pressure is on. Rossi, he knows this, he has to swing in time, but it's an NRG win. He just got it. The prior work being done by sticking the spike, man. What is that?
Well, I suppose that's one of the ways to win a round.
Yeah, Rossi, I mean...
Call the timeout, but that one's from NRG. That one's pre-planned based on their ability to anchor not really working, but it's a bit of a gifted one, honestly. And take a look at the replay. This utility usage, fantastic. Then GMD pushes up, gets another here, but then starts to get a bit antsy and goes for an info peak that trades it down to or rather levels it down to a 2v2. And at that point, the TSM players are in a bit of a funky position and just the very slimmest of margins there where Rossi needed to get a little more aggressive. But what NRG tried to do on that defensive round, though, Brent, is hold their side anchors in much more passive positions. Let's say safe positions, actually, rather than passive. Because what they're really trying to do is dodge all of the utility that's coming through at them. They're trying to dodge the haunt, take it out early. They had a Nightfall that they had to get rid of as well. That was fine. They found some early entry picks as well, all looking good for NRG. But TSM continue to push and push. They're not happy with just holding back pyramids. They're going to get aggressive and flush you out of bridge, out of yellow. NRG need to be ready for that layer as well. It's possible that NRG would really benefit from having some fast flanking going on, but their composition doesn't really lend itself towards that, with some no longer playing the jet.
Yeah,
who gets aggressive in mid? How do they have that fast flank? I'm not really sure who that would be, especially with some no longer having his ult, which potentially could have had something to do.
I mean, you could put Som into that position playing the Omen, but...
So much riskier.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. And it was an expensive one, despite the fact that NRG won. They are on the half armor, some of them at least.
And actually, look at Som. We're talking about people getting aggressive. He is way aggressive.
He's pushing all the way
and
around.
Seven's going to hear all of this.
So, he's being pushed from two angles, though. He was so concerned that Seven was going to swing into him, and while all this is going on, the Viper's Pit was laid down. TSM with control of the A side once more.
But TSM are in a 4v4, and they're much more pinched than they've previously been.
Yeah.
No information or player up towards yellow. They're worried about Cave, too, at this point. There could be a flank coming through. This is the best time for NRG to get off one of these retakes.
The retaking with this operator is never ideal. The Tech's got still. They're going to start to push and play into this one. Hunter's Fury to try and clear across the angle. Swap TPs on top of the pyramid. Gives him such a high ground angle, just perched on top. He's collecting all of it, and they're just sticking it. Nothing in play to try and disrupt it. Sabrosa just not even spamming it. Did he miss the timing, the audio cue?
I think you have to get on such such an angle there, maybe. I mean, actually, the plant position's fairly
I feel like it
decent
was
too.
planted for him. You might have missed the audio cue, possibly. But
At that point, what can you really do if you're him
it's
there?
a 1v3 or whatever, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even if he spams, he's unlikely to be able to get the player. If he does spam, he just has to assume the player got off. So, not really much that he can get done in that situation in a 1v4. That retake, much better. And the reason for it, the TSM in their post-plant positions are clustered inside the Viper's pit. Actually worked against them, in my opinion. Take a look at Tex. Here it did.
Oh, my.
Corey holding the angle. Neither of them taking a kill.
No way. He is pushed. This is such an aggressive angle, and Corey wins it. Now, head-to-head. Activates the dash as well, anticipating that there might be another swing just from the top side of mid. But look at the minimap. All the players in TSM just rotating all the way out. No way.
Hayes was just going for an info peek over towards mid doors, trying to see if the TSM players had in fact rotated away, and gets punished for it. Worst way possible. TSM 5v3, they've been in control of this game. The scoreline is close, but it really feels like TSM are controlling the tempo, everything here. Sabrosa's IGLing has worked excellently, and their executes look good. Let's see if they can pull out the same level of success here against Ethan.
Yeah. Pre-aims the dart, so Ethan, they know he's at the back of the site. There's not so much to deal with, though. They're chucking so much into the back of it. Flash around the side, but GMD takes the perfect angle as he's pushed all the way through. Still at the arches. The spam. Somno has to back away, and in the 2v5, not much money. It looks like they are just playing for the saves and the exits, but yeah. Just giving this one up.
Another round where TSM have an early advantage. Good exec onto the site as well. Ethan in that position, playing site anchor, under a ton of pressure. There's a recon dart he has to break. That gives away his position. Then there's a haunt that he also has to break that potentially sets up a timing for someone to swing him. And then when he tries to flash, who was it? Som or somebody? Sorry, he's flashing Sabrosa or somebody away from him.
Yeah.
GMD swings around the back.
Perfect swing.
Yeah. TSM's timing on all of this is working very nicely.
Thank you.
NRG need an adjustment. The retakes have been working well. I think at this point, with how much utility TSM are using on the site execs, you might want to play full retake on one of the sites. Try and, let's say you push aggressively into a cave, or you push aggressively down elbow, leave one of the sites almost completely for retake. Just play one person in a very safe position so that they can get information, drop off. Keep that utility advantage for the retakes. And try and set up from multiple angles. I think that's what I would be looking for. This gonna be a fast B-pop. Whenever you see this bounce recon dart, it means that there's a drone about to follow up as well. Unless the flash can disrupt.
It does slow him down for about a moment. It gives him info as well. So the players, look at NRG on the minimap already. Into tunnel, just pivoting from mid. But TSM are just going to go straight through to the Hunter's Fury again. Supplementing the push, they're just walking all the way in. The counter spam, but that Haunted catches onto Som, and again, good information gained. Still Ethan hiding, weaving in the smoke. Hayes lays down the snake bite. The TSM players is reduced just down to 2. Rossi and 7 plant. They get stuck there, so now can try and hold them off here. Hayes and Tex trying to make the plays work. Slide angle, Hayes will fall, and Tex, yeah, just didn't have the gun out in time. These angles being taken by 7.
Yeah, a really nice play there. I think the side anchoring was good, though, from Ethan and Som in particular. I mean, Ethan manages to get 2, puts tagging down on another player coming through the choke, so they end up falling. It's a great effort from Ethan, supplemented by these omen smokes that he's able to play around.
He's working in and out of.
You can definitely see what the game plan is for NRG. The problem is that TSM is still scaling so confidently into the site. They're happy to just take all of that space off of the horn, off of the recon and the drone. And there's an ult coming through as well. No matter how good the site anchoring is, it just looks better for TSM currently. That opening pick would be a game changer.
That's nasty. Som's just going to be swinging through.
First round they've played aggro in mid, already paying dividends.
Yeah. That's because they're on the half buy, essentially. Take a couple of risks, you know, push deep. And now the contact play by TSM, just walking through their own Viper wall. There was no indicator that they could have been making that play happen. Now working their way into this back yellow site, still the position being played. The utility sent straight out. Som is on fire right now. Rifle in hand. Working his way through here. Trailblazer swings off of it, and that is Beautiful round for NRG to get them right back into this one.
It's a thrifty, it's a 4K, Som coming up with the goods. And that was just a glimmer, a hint of what he had previously been doing on Jet. When he was able to get into those playmaking positions deep in mid.
Yeah.
Goes for a peek off the back of Hex already finding one. And then he's able to collect a bunch here just by tapping on angles, swinging off the dog. Does a great job.
Yeah, lovely plays all around.
I think this is what they need, some level of aggression. 4 rounds on defense maybe isn't that bad. We really don't know how these comps are going to function on attack, defense side. There aren't that many teams playing double controller even on Breeze. What was it, only Exit essentially?
Yeah, with the Astro.
And honestly, GMD used to play Smokes on this map too, if you look at the other side when he was previously on Gen G. But it's not a popular strategy. I think probably lends itself a little attack-sided, but not enough to really consider overall.
Yeah.
The fade is certainly going to be the thing that is more deciding on the tempo of the game, I think. How much value GMD can get out of it. And thus far, the Haunts have been spectacular.
Oh, and yeah, on the attack side, he's been getting away with murder.
He has, yeah.
Prowlers to clear through the close corners. And
this often happens with new agents. It takes a while for people to figure out how to play them, but then it also takes a while for people to figure out how to counter them. How should I be positioning myself to avoid this? Well, what do I need to be cautious of? Where is GMD likely to throw these pieces of utility? There's been a lot of experimentation with this new agent across the world so far. A lot of the APAC and the EMEA teams playing it.
There's another indicator there. You can see that, I mean, the Prowler spotted.
Yeah.
Som just playing that corner.
The Prowler does look upwards a little bit. I'm not sure whether they can really read into the fact that Som is posted up on top of bricks, just off the back of that. But Tex has found himself into a lovely position. TSM have been going for a few of these contact pushes. And if you know that GMD's not over towards elbow, which you already heard is Prowler on A, he's not going to clear you.
Properly slowed down, reaching the minute mark in this round.
And this is going to be pressure on Som. Can he come up with the goods here again? Som, hazed, anchoring A against all of this utility that keeps coming
Here's the
through.
drone. Sends out the paranoia as well, but it doesn't actually catch onto it. So information gained for them. Tagged, has to TP off to the side.
And they're backing up.
That's so much going to be committed by NRG as well. They anticipated this push was just going to be coming all the way through with the Seekers.
The Seekers, they want no piece of it. As soon as Ethan popped his ultimate, they vanished. 30 seconds left. Noise cut for TSM.
30 seconds left.
Will NRG start thinking about a rotate? Not at all, because Tex is covering elbow, and here comes the re-exec. Hopping back in for TSM.
And the Haunt off to the side, but they're just spamming right through the orb. Som, he's low, but he's got his team backing him up. The other side of the site. And it is done and dusted, essentially, in this round.
10 seconds left.
Honestly, a lot of the prior work that was being done here. Might get a couple of picks. They're lucky, but not enough time to really convert it. Yeah, nice spray transfer from Som.
And well defended by NRG.
From Tex as well, just holding down that deep angle in elbow, just gave them a lot of information, knowing that even if TSM cut the noise there, they knew the push was coming through.
They did. They still had players posted. They could spam through. I think that spam is going to be super valuable as well. As long as there's somebody to break recon, break drone, break haunt, as long as you can still have a couple of people spamming A main, you could see there how much value they got out of it. But one of the big keys too is that Ethan's ultimate just stopped them in their tracks. And they were forced to go for another exec after NRG were already set up. And they'd used some of that utility. NRG are now starting to make this a pretty decent defensive half.
Essentially able to even it up.
Double operator setup as well, with EU holding down halls. Almost certainly has a rifle to be able to go to as well.
No one's playing the top of the site for 7 to potentially get a pick off. The players at TSM are working now. Leaning towards the B side once more.
I have the spike.
No big ultimates in play.
And this is one of the few times where Tex is going to be holding an op angle right here. Drone, recon.
Anything to break this. He just wants to try and timing it, dodging it. The shorter duration. And yeah, reduced information gained. But they've worked their way around here. TSM just contacting once more. Similar to the thrifty round that they went for in the second round of things. And it is the read. Catching one, but eventually the trade, and now swings through. Tex, oh my word, he's rendezvoused right in front of them. And now he's in a bit of a dangerous scenario. Did they even realize he's there? Still, Som is on the site, sends out the paranoia, unsure if it caught.
30 seconds left.
Onto Rossi, who is pushing all the way round into the smoke, just playing within it. But still, last player left standing now, and NRG clean and clinical Tex. Beautiful work.
How does he get away with it though, Bren?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, honestly, yeah, that's
just
a bizarre
very,
one.
very unexpected behavior. Tex looking to anchor down the site, TP's back. And this ends up being a 6-6 half, dead even. NRG made all the right adjustments.
Certainly did. Yeah, really good map from them. We were wondering early on, you know, they ended up picking Breeze. They had some ideas coming into this one, maybe not anticipating the fade, but bringing it even. Could go either way in this series. Go to a short break for this halftime. On the other side of things, of course, map number 1 going to be continuing, so don't go anywhere. Right back into it. Second half here, map number 1, NRG versus TSM. Another clout fiesta, Josh. They keep giving us these. They keep giving us these matches.
And also a friendly rivalry between two teams that have a lot of players that have played together, against each other, interlinked, friends, rivals, lovers, enemies, you know, all of the good stuff. All of the good stuff. And Tex at the moment putting on a pretty great individual performance to keep his team in it. Corey has found himself into a cheeky position. Just the boldness.
So deep here, yeah, but NRG, a fast play straight into the B side at Dart. Connection. Frozer working his way around the pillar. He needs some backup from the rest of his team. Tries to take the swing, but Ethan wins it out. Now the rest of his team coming through. They're being stopped for the moment by that Viper wall, but now with the utility just sent through, the Haunt is instantly destroyed, but the players are already trying to just run them down with these pistols in hand. Might be able to make some work done. Corey!
What is that?
2 headshots being hit here. GMD so low, but he's found the shot anyway. And this is a wonderful example of a retake there by TSM. I mean, they just commit all the bodies straight into the back of the site, but some honestly amazing individual moments there from Corey as well to just get those 2 hits, just rattling off for the Sheriff.
Those were just back-to-back, 1 shot, 2nd shot. Takes him out. This guy's brimming with confidence. He's 9 and 10 even after that pistol round performance. So it's not like he's got the confidence of someone that's already been hitting every single shot, winning every duel. But he certainly sprung into action there in round 13. TSM hit back with a pistol of their own. Last time, round 2, we saw things flip the other way as NRG lost that lead that they'd worked so hard for in the pistol. Lost the economical advantage. Looks like we're going to get aggression again. Very different game plans from these teams. On the defense sides.
Doing the calling for them on the defense side. They push all the way up. And 7 obviously.
Gun here.
Just managed to get the 1 in cave, but just the 1 for 1. Traded out.
That's why we call it bold, because it's so easily punishable by somebody. You're opening yourself up to a ton of angles, and Tex so far has really been hitting in this game, in this qualifier. He's been spotted out here, though, by Sabrosa. Still 4 bullets in the Headhunter. Those are 4 potential kills with how he's been playing.
Yeah, and they picked up the Marshall that Corey dropped down in mid. These rounds are so dangerous. But GMD holding such a passive angle. Far back, waiting for the contact play in, anticipating it. With Tex gone there, they are going to be losing a significant amount of firepower in this eco round. No more Headhunter bullets. Good peek though. Nice little re-swing from GMD into the back of it. Shuts down any sort of tomfoolery that might be kicking off.
30 seconds left.
And Ethan's left to pick up the pieces, which he can't quite do.
Yeah.
That's an easy one for TSM, honestly. And you start to get a feel for how the defense side's going to work. You know, they have pieces here. You know, GMD, Rossi, that can use utility to try and help the other site anchors, but there's also going to be a seriously aggressive component by Corey. And just watching where he goes around the map, you've got a potential Corey push with a recon dart down halls, but NRG are going for a fast pop into B now that they have the rifles. So this very much looks like TSM are going to be playing a bit of a retake here.
Yeah, a bit of a retake indeed.
Where does this recon dart go? That one going into
Bounces
mid?
off?
Yeah,
oh, yeah, it does.
Goes into mid, sees if there's any kind of push. It gets broken early, which would indicate that Corey might be pushed up aggressively. But Tex doesn't see him this time. And I thought this was going to be a fast B pop, with how many players from NRG were clustered around Elbow.
Oh, wow.
But it's a B split that took a while coming.
Yep. Paranoia rips right through the site as well, and it's going to push Sabrosa back. Doesn't want to contend with all of these players just swarming onto the site. And the game plan, very clear from TSM to play this retake. NRG now setting it up.
Tex is on the lurk. One of his trademarks just got spotted. Or just spotted Corey, rather.
Oh my word, the quick reset.
Both of them go for a swing.
Snapped his wrist, man, trying to find that one, and they're just spamming through. Player caught there in mid. Instead of just trying to step up to them, but lovely, flawless. The prime game and flawless from NRG, man. They keep these rifles going.
Yeah, not bad at all. Great execute. It's a split that comes through, and Tex on the lurk continues to deliver.
16-11.
Doesn't even matter that Hazed only has a single kill right now. It literally doesn't matter. He's IGLing, making the right reads and adaptations for NRG, and he's got Tex hitting every shot. This stage has the potential, by the way, Bran, to be an insane redemption arc for Tex. He spent in stage 1 every single map he went negative. I've never seen that in any player.
It's ridiculous.
An insane anomaly. But we know that Tex is a fabulous aimer, and now that he's actually picked up this position playing chamber for the team, whoa, all of these talents have suddenly come swarming back.
Yeah, it's revitalized him, honestly. TP straight into the smoke, into the back of it. Another faster play coming through, and he spots the rendezvous and just a bit of a footstep. So Som, an easy pickup for him. This split right through. Still, Sabrosa does not want to let them get comfortable. Ball's regained.
Yeah, he makes some noise walking down holes there, and Ethan's certainly going to be able to hear that. Som with a smoke. Bit of a wonky one, honestly. Oh, but it allows Ethan to get a jump up.
Just plays inside of it, and a bit of a whip, honestly, from Corey, and that's the Seekers online, with Ethan collecting that one kill. He
knows that Sabrosa's here. They heard him.
And also, they see the Seeker just working away all the way around, so they know that he was pushing through cave. Only 2 players now up. Rossi and GMD.
It's feeling like a save to me.
Yeah, they have to, man. They got no money into this.
Yeah.
It's the right play to make.
And NRG with another really good execute. An A split that sees Som doing a similar push through switch, like you might see from a Jet.
From a Jet, man, where they smoke the cloudburst on top of the yellow crate and then they dash in, but he's just
playing an Omen. Who can really punish that? It's difficult to try and punish a push out through doors like this. And both of these teams have got creative ideas. Here's what we're talking about, right? Som smokes on top of yellow, Shrouded steps into it, swings around behind, and just sees Seven's size 7 boots. Takes him out. And TSM with those 2 saved rifles. Still going to be a little dangerous. But NRG, these last, I don't know, these last 6, 7 rounds, they've been turning this game on its head.
Yeah.
The momentum now feels firmly in their favor, even though the score still dead level.
Been really good for them. Gun peeks. Check the rope there from Som just to try and get any information. And the deep smoke as well at the top of halls means that Corey is left wondering a bit antsy, I think. The potential lurk. That haunt was sent, I believe, into double doors.
Yeah. Presumably through double doors, though. I couldn't exactly tell on the minimap.
It's hard to see.
NRG looking like he wants... Oh, rather EU, sorry. Looking like he wants to drone up through mid. They know that Corey's going to be aggressive in some of these rounds. But Corey hasn't even been given one of these rifles. It's still Rossi and GMD that have kept them.
And Rossi's running away with the rifle. And so NRG are going to have a bit of an easier time, I think, getting into this site with the execute. The Trailblazer sent through the smokes as well. They committed the Viper Wall a lot earlier. They don't have anything to watch that one side of things. The Prowler splits across. Does find the connection. GMD with the rifle once more, just watching, hiding inside of his own smoke. Damage still being done to them. The Nightfall online. He just sends it, rips it across the trails. He gives him good information, but luckily NRG, they've got the teammates. Now, are you really going to be using that? The Hunter's Fury just cutting across. The shots rattled off Corey. Flag timing is impeccable. The support comes in. And half defuse as well, you know, he doesn't lose himself, you know, in a hype to try and steal away the defuse. He's like, Rossi, take that, you know, we'll get you all online.
That was a nasty 3K. Insane thrifty. But there's a couple of things that really make the difference even before Corey gets that online. GMD's anchoring, excellent, but NRG have already used their Viper Wall. Right, Hayes used it to cut off walls and stop anyone peeking from Switch, which didn't set them up for success when they tried to get into the site. And then what is this ult from EU?
Yeah, I mean,
even if Corey hadn't pushed him, he's already getting run down by Rossi.
Yeah, he's going to die there. It's such an exposed position to be playing for that ult.
Seems bizarre to me, based on the positioning of his teammates. No one could cover him. And NRG have let one with a massive eco advantage slip through their fingers.
Let's play.
I was talking about them being in control, the momentum being on their side. I give up. This one's going, it's swinging either way. It's seriously anybody's game. Both of these teams are giving it everything.
You just never know which way it's going to go.
NRG swarming around mid. The spike looking like it wants to go towards B main. And Corey's already pushed up. He hasn't gone aggressive like this towards B
This
main
angle
yet.
that he's holding in main might be the perfect one to try and catch Hayes, and he's got a spike in his hands. But they're not really making too many movements. You notice there's 3 players of NRG in mid. So,
Yeah,
nothing
they are gonna
hasty,
back it
nothing
up.
hasty, yeah.
This defensive Viper wall as well is a bizarre one. Cuts off tunnel in case NRG want to have a B split. And it also gives Sabrosa a tiny little place, little secret corner to play inside of. NRG is still undecided here. Hayes hasn't made up his mind on which way to go. They look like they might run straight into the operator though of 7. He's just jiggling, seeing if he can get another.
You see there was an idea in play as they were trying to push through. You're just tanking the dark, man!
He overheated.
Get out of there! Still, NRG, they've been given an opening.
It's all falling to pieces right now. NRG, with one opportunity, they grasp it. What on earth did we see there? 7 with a little bit of panic. He brought out his pistol to kill the recon dart,
Did he not
and
have
then
to
his
run
knife to run away. And
Yeah.
now EU on the same position that he was previously holding.
One enemy remaining.
It's a great angle for them, but okay. Back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, the beginning of this map felt like it was dominated by really smart executes, good utility usage, solid adaptations. This second half, now that things are getting a bit dicey, there's a lot of mistakes creeping into these games.
I mean, it does happen as well. When you're playing these compositions, they're a bit more unusual.
Sure.
You know, new
You don't
elements
have
being
match
thrown into
experience
it.
on them yet.
Yes, yeah, and it can cause some issues.
9-9 we go.
Right to the distance, apparently.
Sabrosa is 1 orb away from getting his Viper's Pit. But he chose not to die there in order to keep the rifle. So, you know, it could have gone into this round with the Viper's Pit and, you know, Spectre full armor. There's a debate for that, seriously, as to which would be better. Because you don't, as a defender, you don't really get access to the orbs that much.
And now that we're on the timeout, the scoreboard's just right there in our faces.
Yeah.
I'm
Looking at Hayes?
I'm looking at Hayes.
Yeah, I mean, he had 1 kill throughout the whole of the first half. It didn't really seem to be making too much difference for them, honestly.
No,
but it
listen,
does.
I've been there
It does stick
last
out
night.
like a sore thumb, doesn't it? Honestly, the thing that is most pointed out to me, if you're looking at NRG on their attack side, Tex was previously all the way up at the top of the scoreboard. I think he had something like 13 kills after the first half, and now it's really been Som that's stepping up. And he's not, you know, he's not playing the Jet entry. He's playing Omen entry. So different dynamic in terms of how NRG are playing their attack and their defense side. But yeah, time out here as both teams assess what they want to do. Sabrosa's not going to be able to play for an orb and get that Viper's Pit online at the beginning of a round. But this is a massive economical swing round for TSM.
Yeah, luckily they've got the Blade Storm, the Tour de Force online, so really coming into it with, you know, a bit to work with alongside the rifle that Sabrosa kept going.
And that's, of course, the advantage of running the Jet and the Chamber in your comps. Corey, Sabrosa get blinded. That's not going to stop Corey.
Now pushing all the way deep. Wants to take the risks.
Recon Dart spotted nothing outside cave, so Corey might think that they're hanging outside mid here. But it's just a full B retake setup for TSM right now. Their players on B were supporting Corey's push mid.
Yeah, that's going to be the plant down. Minute 15 into the round. Ample opportunities. Gives Pit now to Hayes, so drops that one. Viper's Pit going to be making it much more difficult with Tex holding this one angle as well. They need to be so cautious. Here pushing through. I mean,
What
must have
awareness!
just either heard something or just aware. Instinct to try and spot the players out. Rossi wants to try and salvage the operation if he can, but he goes down on top of it. And now with time running so low because the plant going down so early. Okay, Som.
Add it to your TikTok.
Exactly. Get your editor on it.
One enemy
Wants to
remaining.
swing round, another head found.
So TSM with a fairly hefty investment, once more Sabrosa on his own, saving. Getting pushed as well from mid as Tex not quite hunting. Sabrosa's going to be given the rifle once more to take over. And because Corey and Seven saved in the prior round and used their ultimates, they're gonna be able to cobble together a buy again. But this is just 4 spy after 4 spy for TSM, and if they lose this round, they're gonna be looking back with a bit of hindsight thinking, oh, don't we wish we'd just stabilized a little. So much of this entire map comes down to this round.
I mean, the mentality that they might be coming into this with as well is like, I mean, we just need one. We just need one to try and stop the bleeding, but it can easily just snowball into the favor of NRG.
So Broza's not in a position here where he wants to commit his Viper's Pit. They've heard this. It felt like a mid to A. They bamboozled the defenders.
Nest as well. Corey has to dash away. Seven. He's fallen. And yeah, defenders bamboozled, playing right up close and personal.
And it's again another really nice call by Hazed.
Danger. The TSM. Corey goes down.
Fantastic trading off each other too, from Ethan, from Som. Really well played attack round, and that has just
saving a Spectre.
That has just smashed TSM's kneecaps. I mean, what are they able to do here for the rest of the map? NRG have kept it solid, kept their economy flowing, even when they've tripped up occasionally.
And yeah, you're not even going to be able to take that going for you.
Nothing at all. The economy for NRG is booming.
I mean, they have so much money to work with. Essentially money capped on almost everybody.
Yeah, and TSM, they are looking like the crypto markets right now.
I ain't commenting. I ain't not touching it.
Yeah, this is a rough position for TSM to be in.
Sabrosa, man, the half pie.
Sabrosa has his ultimate to be able to play with, but not even with a weapon that he can really use inside a Viper's Pit, so they're not committing them. I feel like as well, if you watch how Sabrosa's moving around the map, it feels like in these past 3 rounds, he's been really trying to get a read on where NRG are going so that he doesn't just waste a Viper's Pit. So that he can hear some audio cue. Okay, they're coming A, let me use this ult to try and dissuade them, catch some kills, make it difficult for them. But the way that NRG are playing the map, dogging through elbow, making sure there's no holes push. They're playing a spread default. And even when they're not, even when they went for that mid to B push in the prior round, it looked and felt like a mid to A before they pivoted. TSM are finding it so difficult to get a good read. And it is GMD calling on their defense, TSM, just as a reminder.
This push now into the site. Drone to clear. Around Paranoia as well, and look at it, just layers upon layers. The dart being sent into the back. Passes onto the 2 of them, the Hunter's Fury. This is a troubling situation, and they capitalize. NRG getting straight into the thick of things.
One enemy remaining.
And it's clean.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. NRG's attack rounds have just been an example in how fundamentally better this team is compared to Stage 1. Stage 1, this team went 1-4. It's not exactly the same roster. They've added Ethan. They've moved Tex over into a different position. But it's pretty similar. And NRG looks so much better at a level in terms of how they position themselves, how they trade off each other. And I think part of that is the addition of Ethan. You heard Hayes talk about it earlier. He said this guy is fundamentally better than most people who are playing Valorant. And he doesn't mean by that, I mean, maybe he does, but I wouldn't take away that he thinks Ethan's a top 3 player in the whole game. But he means at a fundamental level, at an idea of my teammates are here, I need to position myself in X position. I need to be pushed up to trade them. I need to be, thinking about the game.
The experience that he's got.
The experience that he has.
Yeah.
It does seem to be making a world of difference for NRG. They don't just look like the flashy team that needs to hit shots to win anymore. They've got stability.
We're looking at map point for NRG, and this is some pace injected right into it. The drone comes through. That was the ultimate from Som as well, just trying to work his way into the spawn, but he was cleared out. The Viper's Pit was used in A main, but that's not going to be useful. Paranoia up close and personal, playing and running into the smoke. What are you doing sticking that one? Hayes expecting his teammates. They might be able to find coverage. The TSM holding on.
What a bold push. Just straight into the Omen smoke.
So much faster.
The spike
is what you need to do.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, you've got to take...
It's the same concept of, a jet cloud burst trying to, break the crossfires. You see, the evolution of that was the defending players moving into it. Yeah. So it's the same thing.
It is similar.
TSM
Last
would love to
player
just
standing.
get away with not losing any more players here because the money situation is not looking good, bruv.
Yeah, 3 rifles minimum here. The more damage that you can do, the better he sets up his team for an easy
30
final
seconds left.
round. He certainly spotted Corey. Dips out the way of this recon dart. Might give them bad information. May set him up to be able to get a pick.
Hold on. They are
Someone...
all looking the wrong way.
They're so confident that recon dart got good info.
Swing round. Rossi's good for it. Okay.
Safety at last.
Ooh, TSM fans. Remember to breathe.
And TSM are going to be able to put together a good buy because they kept 3 of those rifles together. This smoke, it's a bit of a weird one, honestly, because they smoke that position off, knowing that it's going to stop a sight anchor from playing in one of the lower positions. You know, you just block the line of sight, but it also allows an area that Corey could genuinely be playing from. I mean, 7 could be playing up there as well.
Yeah.
Those are not unusual positions for a Jet or Chamber to be playing. But as the smoke dissipated, no one holding it. And TSM, with a couple of big plays there, managed to pull things back and make this one, as it has been the entire time, a very close game. NRG themselves take a timeout here, cooking something up.
Got to find a way to close out this map. I mean, it's NRG's map pick. We were wondering a little bit about the breeze, you know, the direction of it to go into this.
Definitely, because TSM have looked fabulous on this map in the few times that they've played it with this new roster. And NRG, I believe with this new roster, they've only played it once, and it was an OT game. With NRG, they haven't actually played that many maps, that many matches.
4 series to get here into the groups.
And they didn't drop a map.
They didn't drop a map. So there's actually not a lot of information on what they're doing.
Yeah, there's not a lot of data. I mean, we're going to be heading up towards Ascent after this, and they haven't even played that with Ethan. Okay. 7's going to be open from B, the only player there. Looks like the spike might be headed in that direction, but NRG have been good at mixing up a couple of fast hits, some slow hits. So even though they're fairly heavily grouped on a B-sided default, they're going to creep this one up.
I've got your trail.
Such a deep horse push here. And now, while they hear the Seeker's
it's a
being
fake.
played, it is
It's
a bit of a
fake.
bait and switch, though. They are just watching. Corey tries to, like, rotate, I suppose. Wrap it off of it. Pulled out the kill. They pulled out the ultimate.
It's all down to Sabrosa. He manages to take one with him.
Oh,
GMT gets another.
running through this one, man. Nightfall going to be sent packing across this side. Tex is so blind. He does not know what is going on right now, and the players are split across all of it.
Sabrosa's
Confused
managed
on
to
the positioning.
wheedle his way out as well.
Tex moving forward, playing inside the smoke, but he gets cleared out. Anyway, Spike is dropped down, but it's the 1v4. Hazed. Such a tricky position to play from. 15 bullets left. The double swing is there. He just can't quite connect the shots, and TSM.
Wow, what a recovery of that round.
Oh my God.
I think Hazed called a phenomenal idea there with the fake B push that collapses back through elbow into a mid to A. They caught Corey completely out in the open, and then Sabrosa and GMD just come up huge. Sabrosa playing around his Viper wall, playing around that utility, anchoring down A main, caught EU, and then GMD's able to swing in and assist with all of that Fade utility. Wow. This game is down to the wire, and NRG have one last shot of being able to take this in regulation.
Trying to avoid that OT.
They had so many map points. Tex upping on attack here as well.
Cover going out.
Looking like he wants to get pushed up in mid, taking an angle over towards double doors. It's where Corey's occasionally been playing.
How is this map going to end?
It's another slow beginning to the round from NRG. They feel things out. Recon dart. They're looking for Corey, essentially. All of these early round plays are just to identify where the chaotic element from TSM is.
Yeah.
And this time, Corey's perched up in that spot on B, hoping to get smoked off again. Oh, 7,
This angle. That angle is impeccable. Watches it as well for the contact tunnel push, which has been happening time and time again. Trailblazer connects with the stun, but NRG, they want nothing to do with that side of the map. With Som lurking so deep into halls here, they have to be aware of it, and it looks like Rossi is. They know that they've been giving up so much space here. The possibility of the lurk coming through.
Som, in theory, could TP past this sightline. I mean, he has a Shrouded Step available. It's whether or not he thinks about it, wants to give away the sound cue. Oh, and he's patient enough to be able to pick up Rossi, the player that was waiting for him.
Is that the opening they were looking for? It pulls out the horns from
30
GMD to try and push away anything, but now time is running low. 27 seconds remaining. TSM holding it still. For now, Hayes moving forwards, the leader for this team.
He's woken up.
The Vipers pit the split across the one side of things.
Som going for a really aggressive push here with double doors.
No, works his way around. 7 connects it. It's a 2v2.
He's given up the advantage.
Yeah, the rifles are in play. Corey and 7, desperate to try and keep this one going. This map into OT, working together now. Moving around the side, EU, he's got the angle, he spots one of them, tries to go for the re-swing. This is really dangerous, and now the pit, it's gone down. Cloudburst to try and cut across the angle. Both the players playing in main, just spamming. One of them sticking, just trying to commit to this one, just being held down. The patience is there, but EU, they get it! Oh, it's not enough time!
Insane! It's another round that just goes based on sticking the defuse. And it goes to OT. What am I watching? Hazed with some excellent kills there, goes into a post-plant lineup position, throwing snake bites. Take a look, another look at this Red Bull clutch. Right out and in the open.
Just sticking it.
The plant position, but Corey does an amazing job of trying to push EU away for just long enough. I mean, we're talking milliseconds there.
Yeah, Corey, phenomenal job staying alive. Distracting, baiting, buying the time. And also just, I mean, the heads up call. Someone had to make the call there. We're sticking this. So
Yep.
Rose is playing for the lineups. He's playing for, you know.
Yeah, Hayes
Trying to
playing
push
for the
them off.
lineups. Yeah.
Sorry, yes, Hayes.
Okay, sides being flipped. TSM back on their attack half. We've already got aggression from Tex. He was doing this a little bit in the latter half of their defense rounds.
No way. The drone doesn't clear the one side of things. Would it be the swing in time? Yes. Not enough to work with, but the swing again! Ethan just supplements the aggression. They do not anticipate that he was playing there alone.
And that is what we're talking about when we say fundamentals for Ethan. Playing off the back of Tex completely, bailing him out when Tex just stayed for a tad too long. And they're in a 4v2. GND and Sabrosa trying to play. They did such a good job of getting this half back, getting to OT. And they do here.
They have to try and play aggressively, but that paranoia, it's amazing work. GMD left alone.
And it's all too easy.
Yeah. Even a snake bite to try and push him out of the way of it.
And that's a little piece of aggression. The kind of adaptations that NRG had made towards the second half of that defense. Both of these teams will be loving how close this is. I mean, maybe they wouldn't if it was towards the end of the group stage and there was obviously their playoff lives on the line. But
yeah.
when you're looking at week 1, week 2, you know, people have a little more fun.
A lot of banter between these two teams.
But seriously, both of these teams will be going for playoffs. And Group A looks wide open. With 100 Thieves beating the Guards, and you've got, you know, NRG, TSM, both teams that could really do some damage with these newer, upgraded rosters. It doesn't feel like Group A has any clear favorites for playoffs.
Not immediately. With this timeout, TSM going to be asking themselves, okay, what's the play now?
What was working for them?
Back on the defense side. Have to try and drag this once more to the next round of OT.
And honestly, Brent, if TSM are asking themselves that question, what was working in the fourth quarter when we started to get it back, when we won those three rounds in a row on defense? What was really working? Individual plays, I think, for the most part. And that's a difficult thing to
Sticking the spike.
react to. Yeah, I mean, they came up with some heroics from Corey, from Seven, from GMD and Sabrosa anchoring the A site when things got crazy. I mean, they're still struggling, I think, to read where the hits are coming from NRG. But as you get deeper into OT, NRG are going to use up more and more of their playbook. Does NRG have anything new to throw at you? Or are you going to be able to read it based off the patterns you've seen before?
It tends to be a bit of improvisation as well when it gets to this point in a map.
Course.
Like, at this point, the teams are trying to play off of each other's reads. The playbook has been expended.
And this is something different as well. Rossi playing with Seven up by Nest. I don't think they're going to expect Seven to be here after it's just been droned.
Som is pushed all the way through.
Once the smoke dissipates, Seven will have an opportunity.
He's back away, but he's holding that one ankle. Hits the shot. Som taken down. in mid. Remove the haunt as well. They know that there's still NRG players lurking around the bottom section of it. Do they want to just try and capitalize? They do. They're trying to run and split through A, but the players in A main are just not quite ready for it, but they're being pushed away for the time being. There's the C's. Sent again flying. Ethan wants to lead them in, though. 2 picks. Sabrosa and GMD falling. Maybe finding another one, but just overextending ever so slightly. Rossi, quick tap.
But the spike is not in a good spot. They're trying to retrieve it.
They have to.
NRG had to go for the spike here. It's still down. And
No way.
what am I
was on the
witnessing?
Rossi. Just ulting in the middle of it, but Corey collects it. The angle was held down. I mean, that's just absurd. It's just chaos.
Just absolutely absurd. And it's once more the TSM players are able to pull out this fantastic performance anchoring the site, killing the one player they needed to drop the spike over by the spam box. And then NRG are scrambling trying to retrieve it.
Normally you're going for those splits. You don't. I feel like you take the spike through main, typically, but...
But with NRG, they're favoring to have the spike in the middle of the map on their attack rounds because they don't have a game plan at the off. They're trying to figure out the read for TSM and come up with a game plan on the fly.
Yeah,
so
it's they can't exactly...
They can't make the run all the way back through
all the way
cave.
back around. They lose the timing that they found.
Now NRG are going for a bit of a stack over on A. TSM's early round utility getting red here, and TSM are going for the call. Things must get chaotic in the TSM camp when they're swapping IGLs in OT every round. Sabrosa's got a read here that they have a timing to enter B. And he's right. There are 4 players for NRG's defense over by A, by Halls. It's only Ethan. We saw this a ton of times in the first half where it would just be Ethan trying, maybe with a single smoke from Som, to hold things down on the B site. He's going to be asked to do it once again.
Yeah. Not a lot of information really happening for them. Okay, now you see with the utility just coming through. A ton of the players at TSM, though, they're just working their way into mid. It's just the drone through main, the tag, and now they're going to be splitting into it. Cloudburst dash straight through, but Som is already there, ready and waiting. A quick reset, he finds 2. Is it enough for Ethan to really do any sort of damage from the back of the side? Still EU. He's found his mark, maybe. Display transfer, shock dart in play. He knows he tagged up somebody. Sabrosa survives, 22 health. Has to get that spike down, and he does. Now the ult. Viper's Pit. Scatters it across. Another shock dart just misses.
He's so incredibly weak. Haze still has a snake bite. It is possible that he could just get the kill straight away with that, or any part of spam.
And just spamming as well. The player advantage is massive here for this retake for NRG. Inside the pit, though, Haze tries to correct the aim as well. Swing out on the back, NRG. Find the 2 players that they needed, and
they take advantage again.
oh my goodness.
NRG's anchoring on B there. You can see what they're going for, right? I was saying that it was only Ethan there, but it feels like way more. When TSM actually go for the site hit, Som sends a smoke that Ethan can play around. Then they already have Ethan in a position where, you know, Som is coming in to actually swing off him. Ethan got the read early from the Sova utility and just calls the rotate instantly.
Yeah.
And it actually takes a long time for TSM to figure out how to get up into the site because they went for the B split.
Yeah, right
had to
around
go
the
up
side.
through
Those
tunnel.
extra seconds.
And they make all the difference. Those extra seconds for TSM to walk up through tunnel, that is the time that Som needs to get to Arches
To get into
and
that
support
position,
Ethan.
he gets 2.
Yeah. And it's a game changer.
Time out for NRG. They can't let this opportunity slip away from them.
Yeah, you only get so many of them. You can't guarantee you're always going to be able to win the defense rounds. Both of these halves were 6-6, back and forth. Both teams trading pistols. And NRG, they take a timeout. They're wanting to assess what's going wrong for them on the attack rounds. And I think the biggest thing that is providing them a little bit of difficulty is that they're trying to do some really funky stuff. I mean, they're trying to overcomplicate things a little bit. And then, you know, the spike gets down and suddenly it's chaos everywhere.
Yeah.
Or there's one site anchor, but you don't have the correct spacing because you're trying to find a timing instead of going for a set execute. Feels like TSM are pretty execute heavy on their attack side compared to NRG, who are a bit more loose, flowy.
Looking for opportunities across the map.
Yeah, and trying to go for a lot of splits with mid control.
Well, that is a great drone. The copious amount of information gained. The Trailblazer just chasing down Rossi.
The problem with that is, NRG are pretty happy just going back into a default. It has allowed 7, though, to post up in this angle, and he's getting a ton of information for them. So yeah, that drone really does pay dividends. With 7 pushed up aggressively here, there are 3 players ready to defend B.
TSM. The setup comes through. The Prowler. Last spot, anybody? Yes. Information gained. Players leaning in that elbow area. And here comes once more to be split. NRG. A very familiar move here. The horn goes down almost immediately. Rossi just swings round, but it's being covered. Players are there, and now there's a bit of danger. The dart was not taken care of. Corey was lit up, and Wallbang taken out. Only 3 players left remaining. This could be it. The map for NRG, they'd love it. Ethan, so snappy. It's all up to Sabrosa, and the trade is finally there. They close out the map, their map pick. God,